Hello, friends. My name's host Eric. I'm the host of Talking with Fantasy Boy. I thought to myself, Eric, you're tired. Go to bed. Your time has passed for the moment. Your immersion in the communicative arts ought to be set aside momentarily as you come to terms with the dawning of Sleepy Week. It is upon you. You left a couple decent uploaded videos there at the end. Nice, well-attended live stream. It's a no-win situation, Eric. There's no gain to trying to squeeze in one last little chatting about whatever at 2:30 a.m. Pacific time. It's just a bridge too far, dude. Just go to bed. Well, here I am. I just thought, but Eric, this is your last gasp of unnatural energy. You might as well make the most of it. You still want to pull a few bowls. You're not quite ready to go to sleep. You want to smoke a cigarette. You want to have some more coffee. You might as well just go ahead and live stream for an hour or so. It won't kill you. Won't really make any difference either way. So it ain't no big deal. Just do what you want to do there. It's whatever. So, here I am. And if that doesn't make you enthusiastic about the quality of this product, I don't know what will. I'm going to pull this bowl now, though. I've been watching these animal videos. I like the ones with the birds with the crazy mating rituals. Like there's this bird. He's got to set up all of his shit in order to get the chick interested in him. So he's got to clean off his whole space where he's going to do this dance. And then he's got to go get a little polishing cloth that he uses to clean off the branch where the chick's going to sit to watch him do his little dance. And he sort of practices the dance. It's quite a dramatic dance, like, And of course, the lady comes around. What happens? He happens to be off trying to get a couple more extra berries just to put the finishing touches on shit. And she shows up. Nobody's there. She grabs his polishing cloth and flies off to put it in her nest, and he doesn't get any action out of it. And he's just bad timing, Now he's got to find a new polishing cloth. What does a bird use as a polishing cloth? Well, the answer is snakeskin, of course. Snakeskin makes a great natural polishing cloth if you are a bird attempting to polish a branch to serve as a perch for a prospective mate. And you're trying to get the rough bark off, and you need a little bit of sort of scratchiness. Well, what makes the best kind of polishing cloth? The answer is snakeskin. Is it a coincidence that 99% of the skeptics have more than $99 in their pocket? I don't think that 99% of skeptics have more than $99 in their pocket. I can test the claim that you're asking me to comment about regarding this coincidental or incidental or causal relationship between the two elements in the claim. I reject that link exists at all. So going to be hard for me to answer that question. It's kind of like, is it a coincidence that my nuts are always in your mom's mouth? I mean, you could call it a coincidence. Or you could just say your mom's a hoe, I don't know. Hard to say. Your pockets are empty, you lie. $5 note. I've got a little bit of money, and I don't have any money in my pockets. Got a little bit of money in my wallet. Maybe less than $10. I had a 20 as well, but I just went and got 2 packs of cigarettes, so there goes your 20, So yeah, I decided that I wanted to briefly engage one last time with the outside world, the so-called internet, the people who are up in the middle of the night like me, just sort of meowing the pia, I guess you'd say. Who here feels like they're meowing the pia? I've got 5 people here besides me, presumably. Surely, I'm not the only person who feels like they're meowing the pia. Does anybody else feel that way? I do. But I've been thinking a lot about function rummy and how to make it work as a card game. And I think I had a bit of a breakthrough tonight thinking about it. Key thing is, for your front stack function, it's basically want to have 4 stacks of cards, one of which has 4 cards, one of which has 3, one has 2, one has 1. And on any given turn, you can play a card from any of those 4 stacks, but you can't. The stacks don't replenish until you've played all the cards from all 4 stacks. So, in other words, you get 1 SI play. If you're an ENTP, you get 1 SI play every 4 turns. You get 2 FE plays every 4 turns. You get 3 TI plays every 4 turns. And you get 4 NE plays every 4 turns. And there are 4 fields, which is 4 places where one can play things. And different functions have different relationships with the stacks. It's like Rummy that you build stacks, right? But it's also the case that, well, I've been thinking, it's complicated. It's a complicated thing to figure out because you've got to have mechanics balance out score-wise and ability-wise and power-wise. Well, yeah, I went to a literal pocket. That is interesting. It's a good point, and even considered it metaphorically. I mean, I guess because there's no reason to. It's not generally. I guess it generally is used metaphorically. Like he doesn't have more than $10 in his pocket, but it's not. I wouldn't say the metaphorical meaning is primarily the meaning of it. So it's a weird one there, Aaron. Interesting figgy pie that you made out of figs and pie filling and pie crust, of course. You can't make a pie without a crust any more than you can make me high without some buds. You wanted to confuse. Well, mission accomplished. Now, the thing is, how would that have played out differently if you had wanted to befuddle instead of confuse? Would it have been basically the same thing? Or is befuddlement a more difficult thing to attain than confusion? Because I've attempted befuddlement on a few different occasions now, and every time it seems to blow up in my face, try to befuddle people, and I just end up confusing them. I wonder if you might have any insight on that. Good point. Now, would you say you're more amused or bemused right now? Do you know what the difference is? Yeah, me neither. People use them as though they were synonyms, but I'm going to tell you right now that I know for a fact that bemused is not the same thing as amused. Okay, they're different. Bemused versus amused. Bemused means confused. Has nothing to do with amusement or humor. The word originated when 18th century poet Alexander Pope used it to describe someone who was muddled by liquor or who had found their muse in beer. Bemused. In other words, I have forced the muse upon me by imbibing too many spirits. I was actually just inane, and it did not occur to me that it could be taken literally. Yeah, well, that's because, Aaron, of a bit of an SI limitation of yours. Namely, you possess no clothing that has pockets. So, it might be NI, but it's really you're just extrapolating from your own experience too much. Lol, Eric, the clouds fade, the sun never fades. Well, that's not true. Suns do die and turn into neutron stars, after which, if they're big enough but not too big, they'll collapse into black holes. If they're bigger than that, then they'll explode into supernovas. So, but really, to be perfectly honest, Diamond, I was thinking about like when daytime turns to nighttime, the dying sunlight, as the sunset fades away into darkness. That's what's happening right now. You're watching me and my son set into Sleepy Week as we're talking. And you're going, oh my gosh, it's kind of a lovely sunset, and yet also kind of sad and depressing, and yet kind of also reassuring. I mean, cocktail hour has to be soon. The sun's going down. Diamond, don't be such a drunk. James, are you trying to say that your cock's tail is in your nutsack? I think that's a reasonable conclusion to draw. Assuming above means in front of, right? If in fact above means in front of, then clearly a man's scrotum is his penis's tail. However, if above and below are assigned to the conventional meanings, then I guess you'd call your scrotum your penis's torso and legs. I guess you'd call your scrotum your penis's torso, and your chode your penis's legs. you know. Mm-hmm. True that. True that. If you want to know true love, then you'll have to begin by loving truly. If you want to love truly, then you need true love. Well, Upton points, I'm glad to hear that. Unfortunately, I have developed a bit of a speech impediment, and I have lost the ability to say my awes. I hope nobody judges me about this. I really, really, really want everybody to respect me still, even though I can't say my awes. I try to avoid words like white or wrong or rustic, wed, realize, words like that, now that I have a speech impediment. Nikki Sawyers, it's 5:45 a.m. You're here. I'm here. They're over there. Some other people are who knows where. And together, we come and make a cloud of sparkling joy. It's really a miracle. Did you know, Nikki, about my problem? Just a few minutes ago, I came down with a speech impediment. Winston's mom, hello. I just finished leaving you a comment after rewatching your video question answer upload to blog dance party teacher asking about SI. Fortunately, I think it was one of those 24-second flus. I feel as though my speech impediment has receded and back to normal. Really, really right, wrong. Okay, yeah, I think I'm back to normal. Whew. Well, a lot of times, if you're just patient and take care of yourself when you have these kind of problems, then it'll pass and you'll get over it pretty quickly. Like, I don't know if you guys recall, but there was that occasion when I came down with mental retardation. That was kind of scary, but I got over it. For a while there, when I was suffering from that, I became quite the advocate about how other people need to respect those of us with mental disabilities. So, I'm actually the one who came up with the now famous public service announcement tagline, I may be the one who's retarded, but you're the one who's being dumb. You can't keep up with energetic Eric's uploads. Hey. If you're going to nickname me, you just stay right away from that alliteration, Missy. You know how I feel about alliteration. I feel that it's littering the nation. So, save some for Sleepy Week. Right. Thanks. It's good advice. I should have saved some for Sleepy Week. I don't know. Maybe sometimes in Sleepy Week I'll feel like a sudden burst of inspiration. I'll say, you know what? Sleepy Week be damned. Here's some content that's less self-indulgent than usual because I'm not sprung on amphetamines. Anywho, I'm here because I was sitting on the couch and I was thinking, hey, I know. I got an idea. Here's something I never do. I could live stream. And then, Eric, didn't you just do a big long live stream and upload a video? Isn't it really time for bed? And do you really have anything else to say? Can you just put a cork in it and go to sleep for once? Turned out the answer was no. So, So what were you saying about that video, Winston's mom? Something about leaving a comment? Wonder what the comment is. Does it say, nice video, but really sarcastically like that? Probably. That'd be a cool thing to put. You found a channel earlier called The Angry Aussie. He's talking politics, and I think it might be INTJ or prickly INTP. Eric, you need games for boredom? Here's the problem, James. Here's the big problem that I face regarding that. I have attempted recently a couple different video games that I thought might be fun. I played a little bit of the old Civilization 6. I played some League of Legends. At the end of both of those endeavors, I thought to myself, dear Lord, I just can't get over the fact that that is a complete waste of time. I don't know what to tell you. It's just, Yeah, well, League of Legends I got frustrated with because, of course, I already typed pleased her, or I typed her or something. She's already fussy about shit. I don't want to mess with that chick. I remember I think she is an INFJ because she kept going like, Miggity type police over text. I don't type police people over text. So, I don't know. Gaming to me seems... I feel kind of dirty after I'm done playing video games. Like, what was I just doing for hours there? It makes it better when I talk about it or live stream it or something. So James is talking about, I think, Joyce having raw footage of types was genius. What if you get to destroy all your friends? Well, I'm not sure. I would say that Joyce may or may not have good videos. I don't know. I don't watch her. She's just another example of somebody who has, primarily, by and large, it just zoomed right past me in terms of success as a channel, talking about similar stuff, you know? I can think of 10 people almost like that off the top of my head that started talking about functions after me and became, in short order, much more successful than me and are concurrently less correct than me. And, you know, what can I say about that? I mean, obviously, the videos of these people who are more successful are better on balance as a set, as product for YouTube. So, in that regard, what do I have to say? It's like, I could make my videos more purposeful. I could make fewer videos and put more visuals and stuff in them and try to really pop everything. You'll probably be more successful. There's a trade-off. Here I was right before I started this live stream thinking a great deal about function roaming and how I want to do the mechanics of it. And instead of actually working on that, though, which sounded hard, I decided to go to bed. But instead of actually going to bed, what do? I live stream again. And I know for a fact that by and large, live streaming doesn't do any harm to my channel, but it also is not a high result to time ratio. Up to place 48 says, how can she be less correct than me? She is a certified MBTI practitioner, and you are just a narcissist who thinks he gave birth to you. Yeah, okay. I don't know if you're serious or joking, or I don't know. I mean, I've had a lot of fun joking about MBTI certification in the past. I don't know if you've seen those videos or referring to that or what. I definitely am not a narcissist, at least clinically. You might say that I'm self-absorbed, like I like to watch myself or something. That'd be not an unfair critique. So, I could sing more about agave, Nikki Sawyer's, but I appreciate you saying that because it means you're familiar with my song. It's one of my songs, and I have made a lot of music. I've uploaded a lot of music, and everybody always likes to say things to me like, "What have you tried this, or you could do this, or blah, blah, blah." The thing is I've actually, whatever it is you say, yes, I've done those things. I've tried it, but the problem is this: it's not doing meow 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 that makes the channel successful. It's doing meow all the time that makes the channel successful. So there's probably an audience for my cognitive function videos. If I were to just make cognitive function stuff and stay focused on making that appealing to people and stuff, I don't doubt that I could grow an audience a little more quickly. There's a much smaller audience for my music. Thank you so much, Nikki Sawyers, for saying that. That makes you a most valuable viewer. Okay, I very much value those people who like my music, but there's a much smaller audience for that. But I don't doubt that if I were to make a channel that would just that, it would do probably better than, or it would in some way benefit this channel by removing it, or something. If what I'm saying is, I'm not saying I choose to not make a more successful channel. What I'm saying is this: that ultimately, I've got multiple things to consider. One is that I like to have the freedom and enjoyment of making a variety of different kind of videos based on what I feel like working on. That's important to me. And some of those videos are going to be tightly edited. Some of them are going to be not edited at all. Some of them are going to be comedy. Some of them are going to be analytical. Some of them are going to be conversations with other people. Some of them are going to be little outings. I mean, I've got every kind of video imaginable, songs, whatever. I have currently in the works, I want to make a video of 10 kinds of things that people are interested in. I already have the top 10 list, but I was thinking I really want to have an example for each of the 10 that is a great example of a quick, interesting example of that variety of things that people find interesting. So I haven't actually done the video yet because I would like to have more visuals involved in it, so to speak. People want to know exactly what they're going to get when they tune into a YouTube channel. They don't want to know that when they check the channel, it's complete crapshoot what you're going to get here. You know, it's like, how long are these videos? How short are these videos? What? Okay, true that, Skygear. Skygear points that I don't have coding tutorials. I don't have coding tutorials. I do have tutorials on some computer stuff. Like one of the videos that, hi Matthew Hamburger, that has had some legs over time is I had this video on how to take files that were made on this particular kind of digital audio recording and producing music machine thing from like an earlier example of back when people had DATs, you know, and how to convert that into files that you could use on regular computers. I have a video about that is, you know, got a fair amount of views, and I have done like a couple of tutorials on like Audacity and stuff. But it's true, I haven't done any tutorials on how to code because I don't know how to code, and I don't have an Indian accent. I was recently thinking about how I would like to do for the upcoming holiday a bit of a Thanksgiving themed video in which I provide a little bit of historical context as to what actually happened at the first Thanksgiving by reenacting the role of the atypically transparent INFJ Native American. So, you know what that's going to sound like is, you know, like, oh, hey, pilgrims. Hey, yeah, hi. It's me, Ronan Wolf. I'm here with the rest of the tribe. Yep, basket of maize. Got the whole basket of maize here. Help yourself. We got all the maize you want. We got maize coming out of our ears. That turkey stuffing. Is that cranberry sauce? You guys really got a lot of stuff here. And these square buildings that you live in, houses, huh? You know, I gotta have to admit, I gotta admit something here. Prior to you guys showing up, I really thought me and the rest of the Seminoles here, we were the shit. We're just like as badass as you get, civilization-wise. But harsh reality is really hitting home. You know, you guys have these buildings, and you stay in one place. It's all warm in there. Look at my fucking house. That's right, yeah. It's that pointy tent. Basically looks like one of those crazy party hats. How warm do you think that is in the winter? It's not warm. You know, it's like we wander around, we shoot these animals. You guys have these farms, right? And it's like, okay, granted, yeah, of course we have all this maize, but listen to how we got all this maize. Was it because we farmed? No. This is our version of farming. Buried a dead fish or put the seeds and just cross our fingers, you know. It's like, you guys are really kind of making me feel bad about our whole civilization. Is that pumpkin pie? Wow. And Cool Whip? How did you guys get Cool Whip? Where did this come from? I don't blame you for calling us savages. Just go ahead and give me a glass full of smallpox. I'm done. This Thanksgiving is ruined already. That's transparent INFJ Native American. He's really kind of feeling the reality of the more advanced civilization imposing on his previously unsullied worldview. Kind of a tragic moment, really. You might call it the waiting for Godot of fourth grade history. Would that makes sense, right? That makes a lot of sense. Why do you think Frank James is so successful? Says Joey. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I also was familiar with Frank James when he was smaller than me, or approximately the same size in a way. Why is he so successful? Well, I would say the same thing I keep saying, which is it's not so much what somebody does as it is what somebody doesn't do. The worst thing you can do is, from what I can tell, to be like me, which is to not be precisely and only one thing. Or, to go crazy and be 3 kinds of frosted donuts. Well, here I am. I'm like one of those horrible restaurants you go to that it's like, wait, what kind of restaurant is this? Oh, welcome. Welcome to Everything Restaurant. You want a sandwich? We got sandwich. You want hamburger? We got hamburger. You want Chinese food? We got Chinese food. You want Indian food? We got Indian food. What do you want to eat? It's like, okay, well, what do you specialize in? Well, you specialize in everything. Everything fantastic. You want Eskimo food? We got Eskimo food. It's like, who wants to eat at that restaurant? Nobody wants to eat at that restaurant. This is that restaurant, but YouTube version. It's like, decide what the fuck you are, restaurant. I don't want to go to, if I want to go have Italian food, I don't want to go to a restaurant where I go, let's see, Chinese food. They've got all these various options. No, I don't want any of that stuff. Okay, let's see here. Japanese food, sushi, blah, 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 blah. I don't want any of those things. Okay, what's we got here? Like soups and salads. I don't want any of those things. Mexican food. I don't want any of those things. Good. Italian food. I want your spaghetti and meatballs because I am confident that you have a passion and a clarity regarding your marinara sauce. Given the 400 different items on your menu, you must pay a lot of attention to that. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of, but the fact is, my analogy is not fair to me here because, like these live streams are really all the same kind of cuisine, and they do comprise the majority of the menu. It's just maybe, I guess, it's just not a particularly popular kind of food. It's like saying, get your Zanzibaran food here. Zanzibar food right here. Come and get it. Zanzibaran treats, Zanzibaran delicacies, Zanzibaran gourmet opportunities galore. Come and get it. I guess that there is a group of people out there who are passionate about Zanzibaran cuisine. It's not a particularly large group of people, but they do seem to be fairly reliable about persistently and consistently being willing to stuff themselves full of Zanzibaran food, which is nice. I think most go to Twitch for this kind of video. This kind of video? I know what that is. Racist. I know what you mean by this kind of video. Listen, don't refer to me as one of those people when I know what you mean. Just because I happen to be Mexican today. God. This style is more appropriate to Twitch. I mean, Twitch is good though. Okay, well, it's like shit like that is so it's just depressing to hear. Let's say you're completely right that I'm on the wrong platform, that this kind of live stream isn't appropriate to hear. To me, it doesn't seem like a good idea to go switch platforms. But on the other hand, so this is an SINI thing, okay? I've been at this for 7 years or so steadily. I've got over 5,000 videos and I've gradually built up, 6,200 subscribers or whatever. So when I think about starting to live stream on Twitch or something, I think, it's a hugely daunting thing to consider. Like, well, I'd be starting at the beginning and I got 7 years before I can get back to where I am now here. In reality, though, I've seen everybody else around me on YouTube zoom right past me in fairly short order. So it's not necessarily the case that it has to take such a long time, Regardless, I feel kind of wholly invested in this particular platform. I've got my life's autobiography on this platform. I like having everything under the umbrella of one thing, and etc. Damian Dirk says you wouldn't be starting over, and it would benefit this channel with less uploads from the live streams. I'm not sure how it would benefit the channel. You're saying if I'm right about overloading people with too much content, that would allow me to avoid that while currently doing the same amount of content. That makes sense. But I'm not convinced that I'm right about the first part of that I'm necessarily doing harm by producing too much content. It's plausible to think that, but I'd have to be convinced of that. And I'm saying I'm positing that might be the case as well, but it seems an undetermined matter. Twitch doesn't have as much freedom as YouTube. People subscribe less if there's a lot of content they don't like. Yeah, true that. I can see that warrant there, Damien. There's that. It's I think it's there are two kinds of things that run contrary to each other regarding that. On the one hand, if people like a given channel and they really would like to, they find like a community there where they want to spend time, then they prefer that community be open and accessible as often as possible. On the other hand, if you are maintaining feed tidiness, then I agree with you. Putting out too much content is annoying to people. So I don't know which of those is more significant as a vector. So Frank James is lovable on camera. He cares about aesthetics. His humor can be funny. He's a feeler, and people like feeler. Think he's a good vibes channel, but that way he's an INFJ. He knows how to make people feel comfortable, in good hands aesthetically, safe. When you watch an INFJ performing or producing something for your consumption or whatever, they tend to make you feel like you are artistically safe. They're not going to make artistic mistakes or challenge you too much artistically in ways that make you uncomfortable. That's not necessarily the case with this channel, If the community is restricted to one platform, well, I don't think so either. And I agree that it's certainly conceivable that people would be willing to watch or participate on another platform. But again, Damien, as with every person who comes, and believe me, there are myriad, comes in here and says, you should, meow, meow, meow. It's inadequate to establish that there would be advantages. It's inadequate even to establish that the advantages, so far as we can anticipate, would outweigh the disadvantages. Because number one, there's the issue of follow through. Is it going to be a one-time, two-time thing? In which case, it turns out to be wasted energy. They just fall back by default. Number two, there's the matter of unanticipated consequences on the negative side, which are more likely than on the positive side for anything that's uncertain. Number three, what makes this particular you should so compellingly more powerful than every other that I ought to actually devote real time, of which I have a limited amount, towards following through on this instead of some other competing proposals. It's, people come in here with suggestions like that all the time, and I end up just sort of keep doing the same thing, I guess. So I don't know what to say about that. Dr. Logis thinks this place is special. So for those of you who want to come in here and say, hey, Eric, you should I want to point you to Dr. Logis' comment right there. This place is special. And I want to quote a song that I've been quoting a lot today. Don't go changing. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. I love you just the way you are. It's a Billy Joel song. It's got a lot of wisdom to it. Well, Damien Dirk, I find that question entirely avoidant of what I said. Like, you're not addressing the legitimate and nuanced point that I made about needing to. I agree that there needs to be some decisions made about exactly how to approach this. I also get mixed feedback on which aspects of things are desirable, which things are good ideas that just need time to, maybe fairly new to this channel that haven't had a lot of time to grow, and which things are just futile. And so I get a lot of mixed feedback. And the thing is, what's implicit in your question there, Damien, is that because I'm not embracing your particular advocacy, that it means I'm choosing to just upload and hope people approach. I am looking for, I guess, directionality and effectiveness as a sort of a guide, but one of the more common kinds of suggestions I get that is least palatable to me is change platforms or add platforms. I don't think people understand both the amount of energy, work, etc., and commitment that requires to stick with and make a firm decision about how much attention to devote to each platform, and a lot of other questions like that. I don't think people really respect how complicated a question that is even to consider. And then, second of all, I think that there are a lot of better you shoulds out there than change platforms. Note that everybody who tells me to change platform tells me on this platform, which is kind of, like telling, I think, right? Nobody tells me on Discord to do YouTube. And see, there are those other kind of competing opinions about it as well. Joey says, I don't think platform change matters. I think it's more about content. Some people will say, like, well, your content's great, Eric. I don't understand why you're not more popular. Other people will say, your content's great. It just needs to be packaged differently. Some people will say, well, it's just about our visuals. You need to get a better camera. Instead, they make the whole thing look better. Other people, I mean, I hear everything under the sun. And for me, right now represents a time of gradual transition where I'm trying to do the slow process of NI and FI. Well, the thing is this. Damien Dirk, I've had people come around here multiple times to engage with me on this platform and repeatedly say things like, you should go on Meow. You should go on Meow. And yet they're obviously not on Meow right now. They're on YouTube right now. You're obviously not on Twitch right now. You're on YouTube right now. Right? That's the irony of it. Eric, what do you look for when you are on YouTube? What do you watch? Well, see, that's the other thing. Right, and I'm not critiquing you for offering your thoughts. I'm just sort of giving the lowdown because this is something I hear. I hear these sort of things a lot, you know. What do I look for when I watch YouTube videos? Well, see, that's the other thing is I don't watch any kind of YouTube videos of the sort that I make. In other words, I would never watch this, which is maybe telling as well. I mean, I think it has to do with people don't consume that which they are. I remember showing Cameron the Survivor Man show, which is my favorite example of an ISTJ doing ISTJ shit. And it almost made him mad. You could just see him not wanting to watch it at all. Because that stuff's stepping on his toes. That's his shit. And here you go, seeing somebody else doing it, you know? So it's hard for me to understand intuitively or naturally when and how me being me works particularly well, because regardless of how well it's working, I'd never watch it. I watch shit like I was just watching before I started live streaming, which is, you know, it's like this nature show where these birds are doing these dances for each other, and it makes me cry. And when like the male birds tried so hard to get the female bird to hump with him, and then, you know, she just finally the last second goes, nah, and flies away. It's just like, no, oh my God, you tried so hard. Or the thing like, you know, where, oh, it's like the greatest nature video of all time it's such a good feeling one. Yeah, I'm sure you've seen it. It's the one where the iguana hatchling is running across the sand, and all these snakes are coming out of everywhere. They're just like, sure, we're gonna eat you. And the iguana's running, and finally one of the snakes grabs him, and they get him all tangled up in a tangle, but he's still fighting. He squeezes out through one of the snake's coils and runs up onto these rocks and springs up there, and the snakes are like jumping after him, trying to bite his ass, and he finally gets away to the top rock. And it's like, yeah, good job, dude. Like, that's the kind of video that I watch. Oh, you know, I'm coming up on Sleepy Week. That's all. Not really very dramatic. I felt like I'd squeeze in a last middle of the night stream for no reason, just because after today I'll go into dopamine deficit time. I wonder how many iguanas that didn't get shown on camera. You think like what really happened is the film crew just sort of like dumped a shit ton of snakes into that spot and then started releasing baby iguanas one at a time until they got one successfully get across. That would be shocking. I would just be like, I am appalled at that, but still, really good job getting that film. I mean, that's got to be the most exciting nature video ever captured, right? If you haven't seen it, no, there it is, right there. Hey, look, Winston, I'll put a link about it. It's the super most exciting video ever, nature-wise. You're just so sure that the snake's gonna get him. One of those snakes is gonna get him for sure. And then, much to all of our delight, the iguana gets away. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to see. I never knew I could care so much about an iguana until I saw him ready for its life with a swarm of snakes in hot pursuit. Blah, 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 blah. So, it's unnerving to watch. And it looks like the poor iguana is doomed. Blah, 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 blah. His victory is one to be savored. But just so you know, not every iguana in this episode is so lucky. It's a wildlife documentary series after all, so someone has to be eaten. It wasn't easy for anyone on the crew to watch the scene portrayed in this clip, not to mention the other iguana snake showdowns unfold. The fact that he made it up that rock safe was absolutely amazing. We celebrated. Every time one got away, we celebrated. Well, it wasn't as simple as that. As a filmmaker, half of you wants the snakes to win, and another half is like, I want this little one to get away. You gotta be like, you get to know an animal, even if you're just watching through binoculars for a few minutes. Those iguanas are so young, they literally may have just a few minutes experience of life, and then they get caught, and that just seems so brutal. Meanwhile, the other guy says, who? Dr. White says, I feel sorry for the snakes because the island has so little food, so many of them are going hungry a lot of the time. Well, not on iguana hatching day. Not on iguana hatching day. Nobody goes hungry on iguana hatching day. Possibly, Frank James is the most successful MBTI YouTuber. You know, Joey, here's something pretty exciting. You know, Frank James has come to my live stream and super chatted me. It's true. Pretty cool, huh? I used to just think of him as a regular person, but then he became a bigger YouTuber than me. And all of a sudden, I got fanboy eyes. Frank James is here? That guy who yesterday was totally a normal person? He wasn't insulting. He was very cautious about how he did it. No. It didn't play like that at all, Damien. Not remotely. It played like him being super cool. You know, drop $20. It wasn't like he was showing up. It wasn't like that at all. It was him saying, hey, I appreciate the fact that, you know, you're still here doing your thing, and you were here when I got here. I don't remember who got here first, actually. Maybe he was here around the same time as me. I'm not sure. But he was just being super cool. That's all. Oh. Okay, Damien. Well, you fooled me. Listen, I can't catch tone in chat, not vocal tone. You gotta get impressed when Elijah appears. She's another one, right? I think she's way bigger than me now too. Maybe even Michelle, whatever her name is. No, Michelle Wilson or something. I forget what it is. That ENFP girl. I think she might even be bigger than me. And never mind. I just won't even finish that sentence. Do Komodo dragons eat snakes? It's a good question. It's an important question. I'm going to say yes. I don't know the answer, so I'm going to just make one up. Yes, they do. They eat them all the time. Komodo dragons primarily eat snakes. And they're like cobras, anacondas, garter snakes, all kinds of snakes. They eat. Do you know what one of the leading causes of death among the Komodo dragons is? One of the leading causes. What kills as many Komodo dragons as lung cancer and heart disease? I will tell you what causes that horrible amount of death in the Komodo dragon population. It's fighting over carcasses. In other words, Komodo dragons kill each other fighting over a carcass. That's right. You know who else purportedly did that? According to the so-called scientists? Dinosaurs. Yeah, dinosaurs, that's right. That a lot of dinosaurs died in fights over carcasses. That's what they say. Of course, the so-called scientists say that. If you want to believe in science, whatever that is. But that would tend to suggest that Komodo dragons are more like dinosaurs than non-Komodo dragons, at least on that one vector. Because most other kind of creatures are not likely to die in fights over carcasses. In other words, if I'm a vulture, I'm going to successfully fly away before the lion eats me or whatever, way more than Komodo dragons will survive their fights over carcasses. If thick uniform chunks of butter are called sticks, then does that mean that BBCs can be called dick sticks? I would guess that would require them to be rectangle, whatever cubular rectangular is called, with points and hard edges. Nothing around here jumps out at me as an example. So what do Komodo dragons do to kill and eat their things? Komodo dragons, all they have to do is bite you a little bit, or bite their prey a little bit. But the problem is, then they have to slowly follow their prey around, because the prey will die from the bite becoming horribly infected and causing a massive fever, and they'll basically die of blood poisoning, because the mouth of the Komodo dragon is so filled with, biohazardous bacterial miasmas. So that's how they do. They bite the thing gets away, runs away, thinks, phew, I got away from that Komodo dragon. I'm like, oh, Jesus, this wound is really making me woozy. And then the thing falls over, and they're like, Jesus, I've got gangrene, and it's only, 10 hours after I got bit, and I can't even move because I'm so sick. And then, sure enough, Komodo dragon walks over, starts eating you. That's how it happens. Another MBTI YouTuber that's pretty successful is Love Hoot. Everyone watches his stuff, though. Yeah, I know. He's another one who started off after me, way smaller than me, was originally with Love, whatever her name was, Love Lou, which was Luann, I think her name was. He took over that channel, made it quite successful. I saw that lady, Joyce had like 2,500 views on her most recent video from 4 days ago or something. Cognitive function theory or cognitive personality theory. I see he had like 50,000 views on a video from a few months ago. He had like a few thousand on a video from more recently. Yeah, I mean, the fact is, there's just no disputing it. Pretty much everybody who's in the field of cognitive functions is more successful than me. From DSP to CSJ to Joyce Mang to CPT to Lijo to what's his name? That Swedish guy. And Eric Thor to Megan Lavoda to Benjamin Siatic to Frank James to Yogden or whatever his name is to everybody. People come and make this point to me a lot, Joey, and everybody else who's making this point. Yep, you're correct. Everybody is more successful than me. That's true. I don't know quite what to tell you. Shit happens. Is that a good explanation? I'm not sure they're more successful than me anymore because I think they kind of broke up, kind of like also NT support. Of course, there are some vectors on which I think I am more successful than people who are actually more successful than me, right? James is sort of getting the same point as I am. I do have a total on my channel of over 2 million views. So it's not like I have no eyes on my shit, right? 2 million views overall. For the channel is not bad. But I'd like to have 2 million views on every video. That would be better. On each video, right? Then I would have People really expect me to be fully realized, you know? Which I hopefully I am, and hopefully I am. I operate in a world in which reality is never an affront to me. But Joey for sure is expecting of me like an immunity to I guess hateriness that generally I guess I probably have. It's interesting. It's kind of flattering, I guess. You don't make watch anytime live videos law. You don't make watch anytime not live videos law, so your videos are one watch wonders. I mean, that's not true. I actually upload quite a few videos that are not live streams. Other self says, Eric, I want to start uploading videos on a few topics, including typology. My problem is I have a hard time starting stuff, especially if I'm not sure if I know enough or if it would matter advice. Hey, Matthew. It's my favorite Matt Capes. It's my friend who has lots of SI stock known him for a long time. He's important. How are you enjoying being important, Matt? My advice to yourself would be open up Notepad, whatever idea you have, make 5 bullet points, and just go make a video like that. That's the easiest way to do it. If you want your videos to be wholly successful or more successful, it'll take the time to include some sort of visuals and stuff to go with it. I've come to understand that my biggest problem is I want to explain everything in words, and people often need visual aids to grok. So, SI stock, meaning like, you and I got history. Not sort of history that people with beef got, but the beefless history, vegan history. You and I got vegan history, Matt. Yeah. Or chicken history would be fine. And if you just do it in Notepad, it feels like you're not really doing anything. It's like if you open up an actual document and title it, then all of a sudden you're undertaking a task. When you're just jotting down a couple of quick bullet points in Notepad, that always feels like not that daunting of a task. Like I almost regretted it last night when I decided to make a list of 10 things that people find interesting. Because as soon as I decided on 10 and I got to like 5 or 6, I was like, God, I got 4 more things. God, I shouldn't have decided the number ahead of time. It's just like preparing for a presentation. It really depends on what personality type you are and what you're trying to do with the video. I've had my very first successful video did not have any planned approach or script, no notes or anything, and was nevertheless very successful because it played out almost as though it did. I've had very planned videos that turned out badly. It really depends on your personality type, the topic, the circumstances, the moment, whatever. So, outer self, I believe, has ample extroverted intuition. So you should be able to work off of a short, minimalist outline. And what the outline does for the extroverted intuitor is mainly reel them in. It doesn't launch them off. That's true, Joey. I've made that point myself before as revelatory of something. I do have a very good eye for talent. Like as soon as I met Zachary and talked to him a bit, I said, you are quite the golden boy here. Why don't you just take advantage of your natural advantages as a YouTuber and crank out some whatever. And I was right, but he's an INTP and he withdrew from YouTube. And I actually, involved him in this channel for a while, and then ended up buying him out. So the thing is, I was right about him, but INTPs are INTPs. If you expect a lot of SE from them, you're barking up the wrong tree. Oh, kitty meow meow pants. How did you become so spectacular? Did you practice for years and years and years and years and years? Maybe I need to team up with a TE user. What I would like to do is hire somebody. That's what I really need to do. because you're not wrong, Joey, but I don't want to team up with one. I'd like to employ one. Like, I currently have in the proverbial can, as they say in the entertainment biz, I have in the can a raw type police video of this lady who says she's an INTJ, but is actually probably an INTP, this Asian lady, but I haven't edited it yet. So it's like I could be doing that right now. That would be a wise use of my time. I would like to be able to defer that task to somebody else, like, or delegate that task to somebody else. Like, okay, I trust you to edit this, and then I'll post it. That would be nice if I had an employed editor that I could hand videos to that are unedited and trust to cut them down, and get it done and up, So there's a lot of things I could do to maximize my visibility. I don't typically focus so much. I have been lately, but it seems like lately I've been getting a lot of people come in and either give advice or do what Joey's doing, which is talk about a succession of channels that are more successful than mine. Which is like, okay, all right, okay, I got you, I understand. I should be more successful. Rachel would be excellent at making those kind of editorial decisions, but the learning curve on how to operate the what do you call it? How to operate the editing software. And there's a lack of SE there too. Plus, I don't want to have that kind of relationship with my girlfriend. I don't really want to involve her in tasks that I have. All of a sudden, there's expectations that she's supposed to fulfill, or I'm going to be disappointed or something. Oh, that's what I'm saying about hiring somebody, right? I mean, the thing is, my edited videos come across at varying degrees of success and with somewhat different styles. I've been accused sometimes of being too tight in my edits. I've felt myself on plenty of occasions I wasn't tight enough. Some of my recent Tech Police episodes, I think, are well edited. They're lean, I'm learning to make, in general, editing more lean. Constrain the extrovert intuition. Try to make things topical. The last couple of videos I uploaded were on the longer side, 20 minutes, over 30 minutes on one of them. But I do believe both those videos moved fairly quickly, continued to discuss interesting things that were not redundant or repeating what I had said before, and that they were largely engaging and successful videos. So, I don't know what to make of that. It's I don't think there's anything wrong with those videos. And in fact, they're doing. I mean, the other thing is, all my numbers are up. So it's not, while I'm talking about this issue of being less successful than my competition, it's also the case that in the last month or two, things have really started to move and change. So, it's a moment. Right now is a moment in history where I feel like I'm waiting that something's going to happen between now and the new year. He's struggling with demonetization. How did he get demonetized? What happened to him? Like, why did he get demonetized? His comedy is too offensive? Huh. Well, I made a point of trying to adjust as YouTube changed the rules. And I was not quite quick enough in the sense that I ended up getting a warning. I got a warning for now known as a shit or as a slut or as a simp. So my position on that, Damien, is I think maybe in contrast with yours, namely that, in fact, an INTJ it is simply a way of saying NIT, and that I understand what that means correctly, and that others to varying degrees disagree with me and therefore are wrong about it, where they disagree. That's my position. So, you may or may not agree with it, but hey. Hi, Matt.
Hey, Eric.
What's going on, dog?
Not much. I'm watching your YouTube channel right now, and your number is posted there, so I figured I'd call.
Cool. How nice of you to call. What have you been doing this evening? Have you been enjoying the cool night air?
The air is warmer than normal. But yeah, I've been kind of running through my regular routine. What have you been doing?
I've been half exuding and half brooding.
Half exuding and half brooding? Is that what you just said?
Yeah. Where do you live now? What city?
I live on the west side. I live on the border line between San Fernando Valley and San Juan.
Wow, that's pretty far away.
It is. It's even further away than the city.
Does that mean I'm going to have to go on the 405 to visit you?
No, I think it would pretty much mostly be in the 10.
Okay, cool. Because for those of you at home here watching this live stream, if you don't know, in general, it's a good idea to avoid the 405. It's one of the more crowded freeways.
Brother man, there's a plus side to the whole coronavirus thing, which is LA traffic is not a ton of it.
Yeah, that's one of the advantages of that whole COVID thing. Another big, I think, advantage of the whole COVID thing is the way that schools now are not going to really be able to force kids to go there. It's going to be hard to say you cannot attend remotely from this point forward, So I think it's kind of it's hard to be responsible about COVID.
I mean, it is like for a person like me, like I'm used to being just by myself, and sometimes when I'm with friends and stuff who are around in public and have better like COVID protocols. I don't know if good protocols.
Well, I mean, I'd like to think that I'm extremely careful to not pay any attention to any of that nonsense because it's all bullshit anyway. I mean, yes, there's a virus, but just let it run its course. It's like you watch TV, you watch football games. What do the coaches do? They all got their masks on, right? You go to a player. What's the first thing they do? They pull their mask down, get in their face, say blah 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 blah, and then send them back in the game, and then put their mask back on. So like, it's all just fucking stupid health theater. It's ridiculous.
It is like that's like I went and I picked up some I went and got some Mexican food today from a restaurant, and like we're both yelling at each other in order to hear what we were saying because we had masks on our faces and we're talking about things like we're doing this theater, and it's like, but it's like, I mean, isn't that theater kind of an institution?
But here's why it persists. There's only one engine as to why it persists. Because you don't have any way of knowing when you're encountering other human beings in the world whether or not they're one of the masked Nazis or one of the liberation forces. And so if you could tell immediately that somebody was liberation, then as soon as you saw them, you could both take off your masks. And then all of a sudden you could outnumber the people who are the masked Nazis, right? But there's no way of knowing, and you have to default to they might be a masked Nazi.
Yeah, and I'm not really big on the masked Nazis, but like I'm a person. I'm in a rare circumstance. I live a mostly asocial life. I'm not around people a lot. And so, like, every once in a while, I'll go and hang out with my friends or, like, people that I'm close with. And all of a sudden, I'm in a social situation, and it's fucking weird. Because all of a sudden, I'm around with people who maybe are around with people and who have rules set up for themselves.
Right.
And I'm like, all right, well, shit. I want to respect those rules because, you know, I don't follow the news very much, but every once in a while I do. And when I try, I see the numbers, and it's like, all right, you should be, you know, you should kind of respect this shit.
I mean, the thing is this: you should only respect it here's the problem that the COVID people have. With the way it's played out is exactly what I said was going to happen when this whole shit broke, which is it's not going to work. This quarantine, based on all the facts you told us about the virus, we know for a fact right away the quarantine won't work. And as soon as we move away from lockdown, it's going to spike right back up again. So there's no point. Just let it run its fucking course. Nobody listens to Eric, of course. But, you know, it's a stupid idea. To the extent that you can, you should just try to both respect their perspective and shove it up their ass. Respectfully. That's my position on it. It's frustrating when you called it. You know, it's like I totally fucking called it from the get-go. Every way this thing is played out, I called it. And I've been stomping my feet and meowing my meows about it since day one. The thing is, you do, I'm sure, live a very different life in the sense that you live alone, right?
Yeah.
And you're not natively seeking out social engagement all the time.
No, but I've come to the point where I would like to have social engagement. That's something that's really weird. Is when like LA first went on shutdown. I was like, hell yeah, this is awesome. I'm allowed to be alone and not feel ashamed for it. And recently, I feel like I want to be with people,
Right.
and now I'm not allowed to.
You are. You just gotta. I mean, you just gotta find people who don't give a fuck about that stuff. I guess we should hang out for sure. The thing is, I always think this, and then I plan to follow up, and then time passes until the next time that you've lubricated your social energies enough to call me. So it's like I gotta follow up. That's not me. I tend to, I tend to be at the mercy of my patterns, my habits. Like today, right now, I'm sort of going on a sleepy week. I finished the last of my Adderall this morning, so I got it all the way until like the fourth or fifth till I get more, maybe the second or something like that. So I spend about half my time on and off. When I'm off, I tend to be more consumptive. Like I just want to sit back and watch anime or something for a while. So it's hard for me to schedule something like that I know is going to require, I mean, for both of us, it's going to require more energy than we're accustomed to putting out. Neither of us are really go out and do things without mentally preparing ourselves for the fact that it's going to take a lot of energy, I guess. I used to be, but I'm more like careful about that kind of stuff, I guess.
Okay.
And I suspect that there's not going to be a lot of public spaces where we can go eat or something. Probably better if like either I go to your house or you come to my house. So if one of us is going to have a long drive.
Well, that's the thing that like kind of fucks me up is like I like to just like go to a place that makes food, and you go and you sit and you eat it there, and then I like read something.
Right. And that's denied to us now. It's ridiculous. It's denied that we can't go and sit down places and eat, and it's bullshit because why is that somehow less essential than various other things that are open? It's just.
It's kind of not bullshit. Like if everything that I'm hearing is like, and I kind of trust my consumption of news. And so it's like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't just be another person out of the world, like eating a meal in public.
Well, I mean, there are novel elements to it for sure, but the problem is you have to be realistic. Are the countermeasures things that are going to produce net benefits, save enough lives to justify the amount of lives it destroys? To the extent that you stay home all the time, you contribute to removing the capacity of various organizations, businesses, individuals from maintaining a livelihood. Now, you might say, well, but I'm keeping them alive. Well, speculatively, maybe. But you're definitely harming them economically. So, I mean, the thing is, people don't want to put a lot of weight in the economics of the matter, but a lot of people identify very strongly with what they do, their livelihood, and their ability to work in the world. And that's been taken away from a huge percentage of the population on the grounds that speculatively it might save some lives. To me, that's like very wrong.
What are you doing for work these days, Eric?
I'm debate coach still. I got a client, just one debater client that I do private coaching. I end up doing a lot of been doing a fair amount of typing sessions. So I basically do consulting and video conference, either teaching, debate coaching, or typology stuff. I'm living with my dad right now.
You're making a living remotely?
I'm able to because I'm both living at home, paying no rent, and also because I'm often prioritizing laziness over higher standard of living, I guess. It's like I could get more work easily enough remotely. That's the other thing. It's not a problem for me, but that doesn't mean that therefore I'm going to project my reality onto everybody else. I'm unusually well positioned to deal with this kind of thing. I'm the exception, not the rule.
Hey, buddy. I am also exceptionally well positioned to deal with this thing.
Yeah, I know. We're lucky. Here's to good luck. Cheers. I'll have a sip of my coffee. Oh, it's empty. Wait, no, there's one sip left, so it's not bad luck. I did. If I hadn't sipped after saying cheers, then that would be bad luck, according to Rachel. Rachel's, attentive to such things. I like the infusion of magical thinking that comes along with dating Rachel. She likes to have holistic, intuitive explanations for things, which sometimes, if I were adversarial, might run afoul of my own preference for reducible truths. But since we're not adversarial at all, it seems to simply be complementary in a pleasing way. The way that, for example, the vagina and the penis complement one another in both shape and purpose.
You're talking about stuff.
Yeah, well, I was really just talking about how I like Rachel's kind of NI or magical thinking, but then I transitioned into an analogy, or I guess a metaphor, I guess actually a simile. And the simile was indeed poo-poo stuff. You're right. Let's see what they're having to say here in the old chatteroo. The ISTP is not likely to really dig into this subject without a practical reason. Talk to the Genexial who is researching if he is one. My sister is INTJ like myself. Our triggers. This is an ISTP, you think? Period not included above or perhaps with her. So that was a misread on my part there. Let's see here.
What type are you again?
Me, I'm an ENTP.
You're an ENTP. Hold on, let me repeat that. What type am I?
Well, for all of my time I've known you, I've always thought you were an INTP until the last time I talked to you, where I gave you some TI questions, which I don't know if you were just fucking around or if you genuinely were having problems with them or what, because you were kind of like super drunk. But it made me wonder if maybe you're an INFP, that's what type Liz is. But Liz has, of course, attachment disorders related to childhood trauma. So if you don't identify with her craziness, that doesn't necessarily mean you're not an INFP.
Take this into calculation. I just wrote down on a pad of paper near me, ENTP-Eric, INTP-me, INFP-Liz.
Right.
That it?
Yeah, that's correct, except I think you might actually possibly, I'm not sure, be an INFP, same type as Liz. And I was saying, to the extent that you say, but I'm not crazy like Liz, well, that's because Liz has an attachment disorder stemming from childhood trauma. And so, obviously that's not characteristic of her type, that's characteristic of her experience.
It's still fucking wild. Okay, Eric, I totally think that, all right, firstly, I loved your engagement with what is the system that you deal with? Union?
Typology, yeah, typology, I guess you'd call it. Mine is not particularly Jungian, but that's basically the gist of it.
I don't know. I consider it like what's the thing with the planets?
Astrology.
You think about astrology, yeah. I think about it like astrology. It's like a way to think about the world. But it's really neat that you were able. I don't know. I think there's a type. Is there a type that? Is there a Jungian type that's into types?
Yeah, ENTPs, INTPs, INFJs, in particular ISFPs. Those are 4 types who typically are very into typology. INFPs maybe too, but the typically intuitives are more into typology because it's a map, not a territory, right? So the thing is, when you think of it like astrology, a lot of people do. I put a fair amount of effort into showing that it's not like astrology, that it is in fact reducible, truth in the way that you can make predictions, falsify, repeat things, treat it as though we're science, and be pretty successful at it. I've talked to a lot of people now, and I see, the thing about typology is it basically makes the claim that there are certain exclusivities and proportionalities linked to how you pay attention. That if you're spending all your time coming up with new ideas, then you're spending necessarily less of your time organizing the ideas you come up with. So it's like things like that, there are implicit trade-offs in life, and there are different ways to pay attention. You can act, or you can know, you can deliberate, or you can interface. And those are observationally different from each other in ways that are difficult to dispute if I were to articulate all the distinctions, So it's a lot different than astrology, because astrology links to the fundamentally arbitrary point of when and where you were born, whereas cognitive functions provide a means of articulating which of a set and finite number of configurations you manifest as a strategy towards what you might call the human prime directive, which is to avoid bad surprises. But
avoiding bad surprises. What does that mean?
Well, we each have sort of a map, an understanding of how the world works, assumptions of things that are going to stay the same, things that are variable, things that we can rely on, things that are unreliable from our perspective, etc. Right? So when something bad happens that we expect, it's a lot less traumatic than when something bad happens that catches us totally by surprise. If my girlfriend breaks up with me after months of fighting and it's been going downhill, it's been, what do they say? The writing's on the wall, then it's a lot less traumatic than if I think everything's perfect. I come home one day and discover that she's been cheating and has left me a Dear John note. That's going to really cause me a lot more lasting problems than the former example. So, it's people really feel as though if they experience that kind of traumatic surprise, that it strongly impacts their ability to trust their map thereafter, and they tend to change their map dramatically. So, like, for example, in my first marriage, I was totally trusting of my first wife and assuming that people didn't really cheat on each other. That was just in the movies or whatever. Once I got cheated on, my map changed dramatically and my behavior changed dramatically, because I was not going to get caught with that map deficit again. And in fact, I went over diligent in the other direction with my second wife, initially starting to be like all paranoid until I realized nobody wants to sleep with Candace. And yada, yada, the rest is history. The point being that we all have assumptions. And when those assumptions are proved false, especially if we have a lot of expectations built on top of those, it's highly traumatic. So that's why I would say that the human prime directive, the only thing that you could genuinely sort of collapse everything down and it functions as an explanation for is map territory connection. That is to say, narrowing the gap between your map for the world, your metaphysical, turn-based, word-based, symbol-based understanding of things, and the actuality that occurs. People want to be able to accurately predict things.
So, what about maybe like people who don't think in that process? Like who don't think about their relationships in that like process system?
Right. So I mean, that's why the prime directive, as I said, is phrased the way it is. It has to be something that doesn't require any specific kind of cognition, metacognition, or whatever. That every kind of attention, whether it's abstract or concrete, whether it's philosophical or visceral, that it can be explained by as an expression of the same fundamental drive towards narrowing the gap between map and territory. And I think that that's exactly why that makes the perfect prime directive. You don't have to know anything about maps, mapping, any of these ideas, any philosophy or whatever to dislike bad surprises.
I'm really drunk, Eric.
I know, man. I'm a little worried about you. Sometimes I talk about you on the channel and say, my friend Matt and blah, 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 blah. And I want to go see him. And, I think he's probably drinking too much. And, if anybody can handle that and be cool and everything about it and be fine, it might be Matt. But at the same time, it makes me sad, Nobody in my life has any privacy. I just talk about whatever's on my mind. So if you have secrets and you say keep it secret, I will. But in general, I just talk about my life, and I do worry about you. I do think about you. You come up as a reference point in my explanations for things. I talk about you. I talk about Corey and Liz and my past and stuff. So, I'm going to follow up this upcoming week for sure. We'll hang out. I want to talk to you. And, it's like, I don't know what's going on with your dad, or you're younger than I am, but my dad's getting very old. My mom's in a nursing home. Things are getting heavy. Like I really am feeling the significance of maintaining the people in my life that are and have been significant, and not getting too distracted by shit. And a bit of a paradigm shift for me, I guess. Not necessarily immediately reflexively what I do, but yeah, I'll definitely follow up with you this week.
I'm really sad.
Are you really sad? Why are you sad? I'm sorry to hear that. Did I make you sad?
No, no. I'm just sad. I've met. I think you're maybe a person who is used to being a person who only has a few persons in his hand.
True.
one of the things that locked me into Corey was his rejection of the reality of the scene.
I mean,
I know too many people.
Oh. So do you, but you don't spend time with any of them or what?
No, I don't spend any time with them. I'm a person who should be familiar with a few people. And yet, I know a lot of people. And they're good people. They're good people. I'm glad to know these people, but I don't want to know that many people.
It's a depth and breadth thing. I mean, you have to trade off depth for more people, you know? You can only have so many relationships in which you take the time and invest the actual energy and attention to meaningfully engage with the person, because you have a finite number of hours, and to the extent that you split it between more people, your relationships become more shallow. You know, it just seems sort of.
I feel like they're all I've got. The ones I don't even know, like, who I can trust.
You can always trust me. You can always call me if you had a problem right now and you're saying like, Eric, get in your car and come see me right now. I'd be there, dude. No doubt about it. I'd be there in a heartbeat.
I have too many people like you, Eric.
Too many people like me?
Yes.
Okay, Matthew, I am happy to indulge you in what.
Not like you specifically. You're pretty specific. But if you could generalize it, I've got too many people like you.
Okay, well,
you're pretty specific.
I mean, the thing is, I guess what that means is people who are there if you need them, but aren't there when you don't seek them. And you're saying you need some SFJs or something in your life, probably.
Was that a second June thing? But IFJ thing?
I'm just saying that people like me are people who are there for you when you reach out to them, but probably aren't very active in checking in on you, making sure you are caring for yourself, etc. That there's types of people that are prone to doing that, and those are called SFJs, ISFJ, ESFJ.
I ain't even gonna write it down. That's who I am. I would break my back if you wanted me to do that for your welfare.
Yeah, but also you're not going to be. So the thing is, you're like me, but you're not like an ESFJ in that you're not going to regularly check up on me to make sure I'm okay. Although you're doing it right now, but that's because the only time I ever hear from you is when you're drunk. So, and not that I'm doing any better. Keep in mind, I'm not saying I'm doing any better, but neither of us are SFJs. SFJs are reliably like the kind of friends that are like moms, kind of, you know?
SFJ, you identified earlier as an ENTP.
Yeah.
You're an SFJ.
Yeah.
SFJ. That's only 3 letters.
Well, there's 2 kinds of SFJs. There's E and I. My mom was an ISFJ. Dave Porter, he's an ISFJ. ESFJ, Candace was an ESFJ, my second wife. So when I say SFJ, I'm saying either one of those 2 types is nurturing, motherly, kind of caregiving, whether they're male or female. And I suspect that what you're saying is you have too many friends like me, is you've got a lot of intuitive friends who are interesting and maybe fun to talk to or make art with, but aren't very good at being nurturing and or providing caregiving of the sort that we as intuitives all tend to seek.
I want to cry, but I'm not going to because this is a good conversation. I just wrote down XSFJ. Me and a bunch of gibberish.
Well, if you are, in fact, an INTP, then according to various personality theories, the ideal type for you would be an ESFJ, because an ESFJ would want to spend their time mothering you and reminding you to eat and telling you what to wear. You know, like, here's your clothes, I lay them out for you and stuff like that. And if I'm right that you're an INTP, you'd actually find that very satisfying, even if at the moment it might sound like too much mothering. You'd probably take to it like a fish in water. If you're an INFP, however, that would not be the case.
The past few nights, when I've gotten to the point where I've been like way drunk and like had a cigarette and like looked down the street, I've said to myself, do something for yourself. And I've realized that I've always been latched onto other people's situations.
Well, Damien here in the chat says, Eric, should you really be streaming your drunk friend's emotional rant? The answer is yeah, I should, because it's authentically what he's going through. And he's not embarrassing himself at all. It's not a rant at all, Damien. It's like, that's so effing antagonistic of a question even. It's like Matthew and I are having a straight up conversation. Whenever I have emotional stuff, I mean, granted, I might not be drunk, but whenever I'm in the feels, I come online and I feel it out online. There's nothing wrong with it. It's like nothing wrong with Matt talking to me about the challenges of being somebody who, and everybody here should be aware of the fact that when Matt's talking about the scene or something, he attained fairly high status in whatever various music scenes that he was engaged in. And so it's not like we're talking about some sort of isolated, friendless incel or something. You know, this is Matt. He's got plenty of capital. You know, it's like there's no absence of social capital that for Matt. It's just he's got that intuitive neuroticism about whether or not it's appropriate to utilize it for his own pleasurings and or how to manage that whole thing. And it's more of a challenge for him than for me, and it was for a while a challenge for me.
Did you just address YouTube comments?
Yeah, I addressed somebody in the chat. A useful synonym for rant, I would say venting and or talking something out and or scrotum jiggling. Scrotum jiggling is a good synonym for rant. I think we can all agree on that, you know. So it's like when you say you got to do something for yourself, you mean you're tired of the repetition of the life that repeats over and over again that you're currently living? Is that what you mean by that, or do you mean something different?
Repeat that?
I'm saying when you say you have to do something for yourself, do you mean that you feel like you're stuck in a repetitive cycle of the same thing day after day with no purpose, or do you mean something different?
Yes. I'm repeating the same goddamn fucking thing, and I need something different. Yes.
Do you feel like you have a clear purpose in life or destiny in life or what you're supposed to attain and you know that you've attained success criteria?
No, I feel like here's the thing. I feel like I've done some pretty cool things, and
You have.
it's like, why do something more?
Spoken like S.E. Polar. Why do something more? I don't know, because you're bored?
I feel like this is a thought that I had a lot earlier this morning when I was trying to wake up, which is, you're too, cowardly to kill yourself.
Matthew!
Yes, I said it.
Okay, well, just so you're fully aware, that's such a bullshit statement because it's like the most cowardly thing you could possibly do. It's something that we've been talking about around the channel actually lately because the subjects come up that, you know, as I periodically do talk about my friend Charlie who killed himself and how it still haunts me somewhat. You know, I drive by that house.
Wait, your friend who killed himself?
Charlie Tharp.
Okay.
Anyway,
it sounded like Corey.
No, Charlie. It was in my early 30s. He was in his early 30s, childhood friend. Anyway, his dad just died, and I've been driving by his house to see his stepbrother there, Kurt, who now has the house, and it's made me think a lot about him, and it's been a topic of late. It's people are ontologically at a loss right now because of the way that the whole COVID thing has disrupted everything in part. And you know, it's one of those map territory things. This wasn't on anybody's map. It's confusing. It's stressful. It's distressing. And it makes me it makes me feel.
I want to restate what I said, which is I'm too cowardly to kill myself. So don't worry about that happening.
No, okay. That's fine. I hear you. I get what you're saying. And I'm taking away from it the wrong part. And that's fair enough. I understand what you're saying. But I would point out that it's the wrong frame of reference because it's not something that requires bravery. And it shouldn't be afforded that kind of legitimacy. Because it's imposing the burden of your unwillingness to deal on everybody who has any attachment to you at all for the rest of their lives. So it's not a brave thing to do. It's an incredibly cruel thing to do.
Yeah, it's horrible. No, I would never do that to you. I would never do that to an unnumberable amount of people who would be really fucking sad to happen.
Right. Of course, you know, at the end of the day, Matt, there's the real reality, as you keep saying, like, you gotta do something for yourself, meow. Probably, if you want to be really honest with yourself, you probably just need to quit drinking. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not one to know about what's best for you, but just throwing it out there as a possibility that you're kind of trying to avoid the elephant in the room here. But who am I to say? After all, I'm pulling bong rips, you know. I'm still pulling bong rips all day, every day. 420.
No, I should, but I don't. I'm in a position where I can. No. It's fascinating. Is there a chat still going on?
Yeah.
Or you just talk to me one-sidedly?
I mean, no, they're commenting on it too. They're saying things like, well, I just know that I value my privacy and would only share my emotions only to those I care about. Matt called me after he joined the live stream. So it's not like he thought he's talking to me in private or something. He knows I'm live streaming. He just asked about whether people are still chatting. So it's not like I'm exposing him. And also, I find this conversation really, real and pure and good and just and true, and find it special. Okay, well, I didn't say you were confrontational, did I? Maybe I did say that. It's possible I said that and don't remember. But I would just suggest that, the implication is that I'm inadequately attending to such things. Maybe Matt will feel the same way in the morning. I don't know. Matt's talked to me many times in various contexts like this, and he's never complained about it the next day to me heretofore. Being who, for whatever reason, whatever type he is, he's not prone to embarrassing himself, regardless. Things he's saying aren't overwrought in the way that maybe I would be if I were drunk. I never could handle alcohol well.
Remember the first show that we played together?
I do. And you were so like, I can't believe you told me you knew how to play the drums, Eric. You don't know how to play the drums. I was like, I don't?
Yeah, no. I was just like, oh, yeah, this guy's got fun.
Well, I mean, how am I supposed to know, right? It's like, I just assume I can do everything until I fail at it a few times. Sometimes it serves me well, sometimes poorly.
Say that again?
I said sometimes that habit serves me well, sometimes poorly. Sometimes other people like you may get burned a little bit in the process. Shit happens, man. I don't know what to tell you.
I ended up playing some pretty good bands.
Yeah, I know. You're the bomb. I was about to play a couple of your songs for everybody here on the live stream.
Oh, hell yeah, do that.
White man don't name their please Jesus. White man don't name their please Jesus. I don't know why. I don't know why.
Every time I listen to this, I hear shit, dude. I always love it. I listen to it more often than you think. It's got a lot of good stuff.
White men don't please Jesus. A little piece of ground that my footsteps on, but you can hear the sound as that my hands are playing. I clean it up a little bit so that you can understand it. My mind is full of molecules, my brain is full of bullshit. A shiny white surface on a spaceship took me to another world, and I'm melting. I'm melting. I walk real softly. I carry a small stick. I see you haunt me the way after it happens. Down below the furniture, I speak about the things they were. The dirt that's in my mind is purely for the shining. The shiny white surface on a spaceship took me to another world, and I'm melting. I'm melting. A shiny white surface on a spaceship took me to another world, and I'm melting. I'm melting. A shiny white surface on a spaceship took me to another world.
Gonna play a song.
I've been planning on the future, so I bought myself a good shirt, shined my shoes and did my homework like I do. It's my special plan, no turning back when it began. My baby, she don't mess around. She don't live in my town, so she can't tell me when she does. As far as I can tell, we are still in love, and I've been planning on the future. I've been planning on the future. I've been planning on the future like I do. Frame by frame, I found.
Good stuff. Really good stuff. I mean, he's got a lot of really good songs. I like this one a lot. This was maybe even a freestyle originally. I'm not sure. Maybe not.
Graceful children live for living. Take your seconds will pour. Just say when, just say when, just say when, just say when. And now run, jump, have a fall, look and see who's the winner. Unmistakable, make believe makes it better. Bump in the cavity in between you and the devil. Graceful children, hasteful for growing. Time for to come in once more. Maybe then, maybe then, maybe then, maybe then. And I run, jump, apple fall, look and see who's the winner. Unmistakable, make believe makes it better. Thump.
I know, it's crazy, right? I got friends who are, Matt's insanely talented. Corey's also insanely talented. And he, he doesn't ever come around here at all. Nobody's ever met him. I don't know what to say about it.
I mean,
Hey, what's that song called? What's it called? Sophia's a great song, but
That song blows.
what's that song called? That's like what's it called? It's that one that's like kind of super pro sounding that I think if I play it, I'll get like a copyright thing probably, but it won't bust me for it. But what's it called? It's a one-word title. It's kind of like a serious sounding song.
It's just a bad song. I mean, it's fine. It's okay.
Which one are you talking about? Cancerous, right? That's what I'm talking about. Cancerous. Oh, you don't like that song. You don't like That's what I was trying to ask. That's what I was trying to figure out what song I was looking for. So let me Google or YouTube search it. Cancerous Matt Cates? Or is it what?
Search Mateo Katsu.
Okay.
That's a horrible name, I know. I'm sorry.
Okay. Giggity Pyow. There we go. Is this the one that has you playing the instruments? Or whatever, doesn't matter. It's not the video I expected, but it's the song I expected.
It sounds bad, so I guess.
So, Matt, where is the version where you're playing the instruments? You can see that video. This seems like a different version of it.
I could maybe search it, because that one sounded terrible. Let's see.
Let me try Matthew Cates. There's this one. You're still not playing the instruments. There's one where it shows you playing.
That's why it's the same one that sounds terrible.
Yeah, well, your mom's face also sounds terrible, but that never stopped me.
Oh, that's the one song that I recorded at Corey's at the fucking, what did we call it? The ditch pitch shit whole fucking shit place.
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking, potty mouth. I don't know what you're saying. Long Tall.
I can get it.
This is a good song. This is a good song.
I can get it.
I'm so glad to hear that. This is a good song. In this video, you can see Matt playing all the instruments. That's what Matt looks like. That's Matt. He's my friend.
Hey there, elevator. I ride you every day when I go to work to get my pay. Hey there, elevator. You're better than the stairs. Everybody else stands around. They don't care. They don't know the first thing about you. I don't think you want them to.
I know what you guys are thinking. You're thinking, Eric, how is it that you have such talented and interesting friends? And the answer is, I don't know. Just happened that way. It's like, Matt, anybody plays you their friend's band, right? Let's say you go to a YouTuber and Joe, whatever, and he's a YouTuber and he's, smallish like me. And he's like, hey, my random friend showed up drunk. Let me play you his band. Right? Let me play his music. There's zero chance that it's worth listening to. Zero, right? I mean, it just goes without saying. It's gonna suck ass. Not my friends. Why did that happen? How did that happen? I don't know. I just that's the way life played out. And, when I've played even bad versions of Siddhartha Sedate to people around the channel, I've heard from various people, even in the bad versions that I'm like, right, even in the bad versions that I'm like, this is terrible, but this is what it sounds like. People go like, who don't know that it's Corey's song, go like, that's your best song, Eric. I'm just like, okay, well, that's not my song, but I agree, it's a fantastic track. I mean, a fantastic song, and I'd like it to be a fantastic track. But the point is, how is it that I came to be to have like these super talented friends that are like, if I were to play their shit to anybody, they go like, wait a second, but that doesn't make sense. Why doesn't that suck? I don't know.
I just put the whatever song you were looking for in the chat.
Oh, you did? I don't see it.
Yeah.
I don't think you can. Which chat? In the live stream?
In the YouTube chat.
Okay. Well, you probably can't do that because you're not a moderator. I'd be happy to make you one, but I don't see anything from you in the YouTube chat. So do you maybe put it as a comment under the video instead?
I put it in the comments.
In the comments, okay.
As Matt Cates.
Let me go to the comments then.
Did it twice. I'm continually reposting it.
Okay, so you can stop now. Okay, let's see. I don't see in the comments.
I don't know what fucking song that is. Oh God. I recorded it in fucking Squatter Studios.
Squaller Studios.
Squatter Studios.
Oh, I well remember Squalor Studios. I spent a lot of hours there. Yep. Good old Squalor Studios.
I'm amazed how many hours I spent at Scholarship. I once went to San Francisco because of a little bit of time I spent at Scholar Studios.
Squalor Studios was a place of great power. A place of very great power.
I didn't realize that I'd smoked speed.
That's a hilarious sentence, Matt. I gotta say. That's a hilarious sentence. I didn't realize I had smoked speed. Really? Do you really expect anybody to believe that? I'm pretty confident I realized I was smoking speed. Just put it that way. It never seemed to catch me by surprise. What is this I'm doing? This couldn't possibly be methamphetamine here, would it? Of course, you know.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't be sharing this.
It's fine. Hey, Matt, like I said, I talk about everything on this channel. I am not somebody who shies away from my personal history. You know, I just don't. I'm not ashamed of anything.
I respect the man of the past.
Yeah, it's just, I'm not saying I would embrace that lifestyle again, but it was what I was doing at the time, and you know, it's what it was. You smoke speed? Yes, you do smoke speed once the moment you can. And the issue about that relates to whether or not you're taking something like Adderall, which comes in a pill, and which is therefore a much more sustainable, manageable, not super nuts way of doing speed, or you could get your speed in the methylated crystal form known as methamphetamine. And in that case, why, that's just born to be smoked, for goodness sakes. It's you just got to heat the right temperature, and it's an eye-opening experience. Let's just say that. I would not recommend you do it because if there's anything that I personally would call kinda addictive, it would be meth. It's kind of hard to like casually do it. You know, it's like I'm gonna casually do a little bit of meth, and then 36 hours later, they're like, "Wait, did I just casually do some meth? What's happened in the last 36 hours here?" Because I've got this statue I've made out of some sort of material that I've scavenged from nearby trash cans. And I know I have a clear plan as to why I'm building this statue, but at the moment, I can't seem to recollect what it is. However, I still am rather impressed with the amount of effort I put into this statue, albeit not with the results. That's what it means to casually decide to smoke some speed one morning. Then, if you sort of go, how long have I been holding this speed pipe for? Have I been just hitting this whole time? I wonder. Anyway, this is one of my public service announcements. Kids, don't smoke meth. It sounds like a good idea, I'm sure, but it's really not a good idea. I'd recommend against it. It kind of gets out of hand, like, instantly. What I'm saying is there is no in-hand version of it, I guess, no matter how in-handed you are about such things.
I would really like to find the video of something.
Okay, I mean, like there are limits to my my enthusiasm for exposing my past. One of the nice things is I didn't really make any videos back then. I only did audio stuff, so hopefully, if you do have something that's incredibly, if you've got video of me hitting the speed pipe, let's just keep that. Just put that away, okay? I just don't want to see that. I don't want to see it because it's gonna make me go like, I'm gonna taste it. I can taste the speed right now just even thinking about it. So there's that, and also.
Oh, here we go. I got it. Let's see here. Videos, subscribe.
I'd like to look at it privately, though. I'd be interested to see that, but I don't. It's already giving me the drug sweats just even thinking about it. Ay. It's weird how much your body retains the memory of old addictions.
No, it's good. Play this.
Bye, Lauren McGinley. You are a student driver, I hear, and I wish you well on learning to drive. Avoid running into things, be they stationary or moving in general.
Oh my God, it's you again. No, it's not that one.
No, I'm not burning the midnight oil. I'm burning the 5 a.m. oil. Wow, it's 5 a.m. I stayed up all night? I didn't know that.
History. There we go, history. No.
Yeah, Janexion, I'm actually running on Adderall fumes that I took yesterday morning. I took the last of them, and it wasn't a particularly large amount. And at this point, I was ready to go to sleep when I started this live stream 2.5 hours ago. I decided to just do a quick live stream. But, turned out to be one that elicited a phone call from Matthew. And so here we are having the conversation of our lives, I think it's fair to say. And, reminiscing about the good old days, some of which were a little bit more ribald than others. I'm not going to lie. Had a few ribald moments, depending on how you define ribald. I don't know if it necessarily had the sexual component. Nothing particularly ribald in that capacity that went along with my substance ribaldry. A lot of people, those things do correlate. Substance ribaldry will go hand in hand with sexual debauchery. Not me. I prioritized the substances, and was never too weird about the penis stuff. With the humping, about the eating, as they say, the genital touchings, the pokety pokes. They're comparatively normal when compared against other people who were aficionados of the mythical arts. Practitioners of the mythical arts. That's what we call tweakers now, okay? Practitioners of the mythical arts. Otherwise, you're just conferring your group is bullshit onto them, okay? And I don't like it. Thinking maybe it's about time for me to go to bed. It is now 5 a.m. That, as they say, in Witch Town, is the witching hour. So, Matthew, I'm going to follow up later this week with you, okay? Hello? Are you there? Matt? You sleeping? Are you crashed out like
The original talking with
I said I will follow up with you at some point this week, a couple days, okay? I'm gonna go to bed now.
Okay.
All right. Talk to you
Eric.
talk to you soon. Love you too, man. Bye. That really brings the SI home to roost. You know, Matthew was such an important part of my life for, like a active presence in my life for a significant chunk of years that were very formative in a lot of ways to me. And it's nice talking to him. It was gratifying, satisfying, like one of those moments in a movie where the two bros have that kind of bro hug and they go, right on, bro. And the other one goes, bro, right back at you. And they fist bump and they do this elbow thing. And it's like, wow, we are really bonding over the broing here. And everybody in the theater is just here come the waterworks. Look at the bros broing down. So it's what Miss Winston's mom likes to call a misty frying. All right, so off to bed I go. Let me just crash out right here on the old coucharoo so as to not disturb Rachel. Also because Kitty's right there, and so I don't want to go inside and leave Kitty out here, and then Kitty wants to go outside and there's no one to let her out. So I'll probably just sleep right out here. Maybe she'll be so kind as to grace me with her presence on the bed. Sleeping with Kitty is just, it's like a gift of adorability from the Sandman. I think that's a good simile. Good night, sweetheart. It's time to go. And don't forget to eat plenty of cheese.